Y'all, if I wrote a book, I don't think most people would really believe most of what I would write, and it would all be true, though. But I have had a very interesting, complicated, bizarre life, and just in the last few weeks, it's become even more clear how crazy my life has been. Um, Starting from being born to a single mother to being adopted by her husband when I was just not even 2 years old. And then they had a son together. I don't have a relationship with any of them. And my mother's husband cut off contact between me and my mother. But I had boundaries with her for most of my life anyway. And then she always claimed to never know who my father was. And I found him thanks to ancestry, and it started with a cousin who had been adopted. And he didn't know anything either. He didn't know who either of his biological parents were. But then, 4 years after we both met, then we got a very close match, and it was his biological mother. And through her, with her help, I learned that she had two full brothers, a half brother who is much older, but um, anyway, she kind of guessed which of her brothers could be my father because he was wild. The other one was the more upstanding one. He would never do that. And sure enough, she was right. George was my father. And then last year, she reunited with the son she gave up for adoption. And that is actually the cousin that I met 8 years ago. And then 3 weeks ago, I got the call that my precious Aunt Ginger was being moved to hospice after being sick the week before. So I rushed down to Florida to spend those last few days with her. And during that time, I got to meet her other brother, Bruce. He and his wife are amazing. All of my new family are amazing. And Bruce, though, he is the complete opposite of what my biological father, George, was. He's amazing. He is a gentleman, a true gentleman. He loves his wife very much. And another part of my crazy, complicated life is about 14 years ago, um, I think, yeah, I helped my mother find her half sister. And so she's my half aunt, and she's 14 months younger than I am. So I call her my sister aunt, but that was pretty cool. She apparently knew about some of us, but we didn't know where she was at. And turns out she had only lived like a half hour away from my mother. At that time, my mother was absolutely shocked that I found her sister. Um, and then, another crazy part of my story, going back to my biological father, I found out I have a half sister through him. And with my research, if I'm correct, she's 2 months younger than I am. So George was quite the player. I have tried contacting her, but I have not had any success yet. Um, but some interesting tidbits that I have learned about my biological father's side. Well, actually, as an aside, another interesting, crazy coincidence that I learned soon after I met my first, the first cousin on Ancestry. I'll refer to him as T. Anyway, I found out that he and my half aunt that I had reunited with my mother, they're close to the same age. They had dated for a very short time in high school, so they knew each other. And to think that if they had gotten more serious and got married, And I met my aunt 14 years ago when I reunited her with my mother. And then to find out years later that, oh, you're married to my cousin. But that didn't happen. But how crazy is that? Um, Another interesting thing is that there's a town in Florida. It's south of Tampa. It's in the same county. Gibsonton, Florida, was named after one of my second great grandfathers on my biological father's side of the family. They descended from that side of the family descended from Greenville, Alabama, and back in the I want to say late 1800s, early 1900s, they moved to Florida, an unnamed area um, south of Tampa, and they settled there and named it Gibsonton after their surname Gibson. And some of the first streets were named after family members. So one of these days I need to go back to Gibsonton and explore and try to find these streets. But it has been, these last 4 years actually have been crazy. Just lots of losses and lots of gains. But I feel blessed. I mean, I there's still some sadness regarding what has happened with my mother and her husband's treatment of me. But I feel blessed that I have gained new family and, but Uncle Bruce, my newest uncle, I met him while Aunt Ginger was in hospice. He had no idea about me. Ginger apparently never told him about me. I don't know why. I don't know if she wanted to keep me to herself. But he didn't know about me, so he was really surprised when I met him the day that Aunt Ginger went into hospice, and I got to meet his wife on the day that Aunt Ginger died. But I could tell that they were a little cautious at first about me, because after all, George was kind of a player. He was wild. And I'm nothing like him. And my newest uncle is nothing like George. And so when I got to meet Bruce's wife the day that Aunt Ginger died, she looked at me and I said, don't worry, I'm nothing like George. That kind of broke the ice a little bit because she chuckled. But yeah, I am really feeling blessed that I've gained new family. After Aunt Ginger's memorial service, I got to spend more time with Bruce and Marge and one of my other cousins, Ginger's son, the one that she reunited with a year ago. And I think they're accepting of me, and they're looking forward to getting to know me better. I'm looking forward to spending more time with them, and they've already told me they want to give me some of my biological father's items that they have. And so anyway, that is a little bit of my interesting life. Thanks for listening.